So I've decided that I do want to have a recruitment and selection campaign, that there are some roles, or there's a role that I need filling. So how do I go about attracting people to apply for the role? Well, designing your advert comes in 3 steps. First of all, who you are and what you do. That's the first description of your advert, who you are and what you do, and who your beneficiaries are and your service deliverables. So this 3-step process, again, you'll find in your resource pack. The first description is who you are, and the second is who you are serving, and the deliverables, the services that you are delivering. The second part of your advert is where your role description and your person specification come in. So in terms of describing the role, you talk about the main tasks that someone will be completing in the role, and in terms of the person, the skills and attainments and qualifications and competencies that they will require. It's really important to put that in your advert, not just the what in terms of the tasks, but that your advert does include skills, knowledge and competencies for the person. So just reading your advert is an opportunity for someone to say, oh yeah, I have those competencies, or yes, I have that previous experience. And then the third aspect of your advert is the unique selling point, what the candidates get from volunteering with you, what's in it for them. So it's really important, and you would have considered this when you were writing your role description. What is it that the person gets out of the role? Now, if that doesn't come to mind easily, one of the things that you can do is ask some of your volunteers. Or if it's a new role, you could put yourself in the shoes of that new role and think, what would I get out of doing this role for our organisation? So it's the what's in it for me in relation to the candidate. And then you would describe your overall process for applying, you know, how people would apply, what they would need to supply by way of a CV, or do they complete your application form online? So the process of how they would apply. So these 3 steps ensure that you have a really robust, fit for purpose advert that saves time, because particularly with step 2, candidates know what they will be doing and the sorts of skills and knowledge and competencies that they will need to be effective in the role. So in terms of the 3 steps, please consider that you have a good description of your organisation, about why your organisation exists, what it is there to do, what it is there to provide, and who it is that you're serving. You'll have a description of that, obviously, in your articles if you're a charity, or in your objectives if you're a CIC. So make sure that you are describing your organisation accurately. Again, we've talked about the role description and the person specification, and the information that you'll put in your advert there, and the unique selling point, and how to apply in terms of the process. And again, it's really important for you to consider making the process easy to use. So in terms of posting your advert, here are some things for you to consider in terms of where you might post your advert. Where are your likely candidates to come from? What sort of backgrounds might they have? Where would they be in the community? Do you promote internal recommendations? Do you go back into the organisation and put a memo out to everybody saying, you know, we have this role. Do you know anybody that would be interested in applying for this role? Might there be employers around who might promote community initiatives that would be interested in your role? So one of the things that many organisations and many charities that I've worked with are recognising is the importance of links out into the community in terms of employer organisations, and how many organisations are now including community activities and initiatives in their well-being package for employees. Might there be education institutions around that would be interested in your vacancy? A PTA magazine. Also, are there some schools that might have volunteers in them? And particularly in Buckinghamshire, Bucks-New University, obviously have a wealth of students. Might there be some volunteers in there that you would post your advert to? Have you considered free local magazines or free Facebook groups? What about your website, and how is your website communicated and distributed? Also LinkedIn. Increasingly, charities are advertising in the LinkedIn pages. Obviously, CIB have a dedicated portal called Volunteer Box. Have you put your advert in there? And other online portals in terms of people like Reach, Charity Job and Do It, and professional bodies. So if you say looking for an accounts clerk, are there any professional bodies that you could advertise with? And again, there are some examples in your resource pack. So posting your advert is a really important aspect of your recruitment and selection. Are there some ideas here that you haven't considered before? And if so, how might you go about connecting in with these different mediums to post your advert? So this is an opportunity for you to pause and consider how you will not only write your advert, but where you will post it. So again, just encourage you to pause the video now, make some notes, or discuss in your group. Cheryl, what are some of the questions might come up about posting an advert?
Thanks, Alexandra. That was really interesting. This is one of the classic big areas for lots of volunteer involving organisations. It's probably the biggest problem that people come to us with is advertising their roles, and lots of organisations have adverts out all of the time, absolutely all of the time. Do you have any advice on how long to stick with the same advertisement?
Yes, that's a really good question. I would say that if your advertisement hasn't attracted anybody within 4 weeks, then it's a good opportunity to go back to your advert and tweak it. So it may be the same role, but is there something that's missed or something additional that you could put into your advert? Because what happens when an advert is out there all the time, people disregard it. So it's like when you say you have a vase and you think, oh, I'm going to move that vase, and you put it somewhere in the house. You put it, say, on a sideboard. And you think, oh, I'll get back to that. I'll move that when I next come into the sitting room. And then 3 weeks later, it's still sat on the sideboard because because it's gone out of my sphere of vision. An advert is the same. If an advert is there continuously, then it poses questions to people about why there are so many, why it's there for so long. And if it is that you need, say, more than one volunteer doing that role, then it's important to mention that in your advert. We're looking for 3 volunteers for this role, rather than just have an advert for that role and it stay there for a long time. So I would say that after 4 weeks, if if the advert hasn't generated any interest, it's important to have a look at it. Why is it not generating interest? To then perhaps reword it, take it down. If it's on a portal, take it down, reword it, rest it for a week, and then put it back up. So I think there is obviously a marketing aspect to advertising, and for the organisation to consider those sorts of things.
That's brilliant. So if we change the look and the feel of the ad in the way that you suggest, are there any key messages that we always need to keep up front?
Yeah, that's very good. Yes. So when you are, let me just go back to this. When you are creating your advert, if you're rewording your advert, please be sure to put who you are and the role and the person spec details. They are what are going to enable a person to know whether you're the sort of organization they want to work with and whether they've got the sort of skills that are going to be valuable in the role, because you will have included aspects from the person specification. So it's really important. Yeah, really important.
In this, if you need somebody who's maybe got you're going to run an enhanced DBS clearance on, would you put that in your description?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that if it's an enhanced, perhaps they have a basic DBS and you would be running the advanced. So you would actually describe that. Yes, you put it in the part as aspect of the person spec. So a person needs to have DBS clearance, and for this role, an advanced clearance is required, which we will apply for.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Alexandra.
You're welcome.